you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Indiana has a loud and significant fan base, and there's a level of frustration there currently because the team's not going to the tournament this year and hasn't been a force in the tournament for a long time. And a number of them didn't like what Mike Woodson said on Sunday, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, he seemed to take an inopportune time again. He just seems removed from not reality, but out of touch with situations, out of touch with timelines. There's a time and a place to do certain things, and he doesn't seem to get that. That was a day about the players, and he took it to turn the attention back to himself to gather some just some support from obviously the people who stay for something like that are obviously big fans, and they're probably not going to be disagreeable to anything that goes on, and it wasn't. And so it was kind of an audience made just for that, and he took advantage of that. And it was I found that to be a little less than ingenuous.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about it like it's a Supreme Court justice appointment for life instead of a job that you have a 6-year contract for. You know, it's not royalty. You're not the king of Indiana basketball. You're the coach, and other coaches, including his mentor, Bob Knight, was removed from the job. So nobody's impenetrable in that job. The second part of it that you were really right about was that it was about the seniors. And the third thing was there was a much better way to handle it. And all he had to say was this. I know this has been a tough year for everybody. It's been a tough year for us and the players. We get that. And we got a great opportunity to go to Minneapolis next week. And we're still committed to making the NCAA tournament and doing something Indiana's never won, win the Big Ten tournament. And then we're going to get out and we're going to bust our ass in recruiting, and we'll come back better than ever next year. And that's it. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say anything else, because, I think that would be a better way of showing leadership. But, that's not been the thing that I really keep struggling about. And we've talked about this before, is I don't see how he got by with his attitude of, I don't want to be questioned about anything after serving as the head coach at the New York Knicks in New York City, because I can't believe the tabloid guys and put up with that stuff. I mean, for people to ask him, like as they did last week, are you concerned about recruiting since you don't have any recruits? That's not an outrageous question. That's a question any legitimate Indiana basketball fan has, and he should have been able to answer that without being condescending and dismissive.
And not only that, to act as if those fans do not deserve an answer, that the media does not deserve an answer, is also a very, very false place to put himself, because I've said this, he's one of the highest paid state employees. So actually, yeah, you do need to talk about your job, especially when it's not being done well.
Of course you do.
Secondly, big part of your contract, or what he makes, comes from media, comes from radio shows, of which he skipped probably 4 times this year, I think. So that all is part of your salary. And then you add in the people that are giving to NIL. You owe an explanation to these people.
Of course you do. And let me ask you a question. After the season ends, he's not going to talk again until late May, when he's going to come down here and go to Starlight at Huber's. And there's going to be 1,000 people there. Maybe there won't be as many this year because they're disappointed. But what are they going to want to know? They're going to want to know, what recruits do you have, and why is next season going to be better? And is he going to tell them, I don't talk about recruiting, I don't talk about my job security? I don't think so. So, I mean, people that are asking these questions are only asking the questions that the fans want to know the answers to. I mean, it's preposterous to think that he shouldn't have to talk about, what's the plan now that once Liam Neely, he can talk about Liam McNeely. He was a committed recruit. What's the plan now? How are you going to build your roster for next season now that you have no recruits?
Yeah, and when he doesn't have answers, that's when he seems to get indignant. And I think a lot of the time he doesn't have the answer. And that's the problem. What is the plan? Right now, the plan just seems to be hitting the transfer portal, which, yes, I'm not saying that Khalil Ware wasn't successful. Sure, okay, he was, but look how many spots they needed to fill. They did not fill them. They did not get the pieces that they needed to get. They ended up leaving a scholarship open because they couldn't fill them. So just because you get a good player does not wipe out not getting two more that you need, to me.
Yeah, and I think we see with the teams that are good, I mean, you can have one or two transfer portal guys, but generally speaking, the teams that are counting on 4 or 5 or 6 portal guys, that's not a recipe to be a really good team. Really good team.
Chris asked, can we ask Rick how Kenny Payne handled the media during his disappointing season? Probably asked a lot of the same similar questions, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, he could have done better. I mean, yesterday he made some statements about how he was disappointed that people lost faith in him so quickly and quit coming to games. I think at times his messaging after games was too repetitive in terms of we have to play with more fire. We have to be the aggressor instead of saying, I got to find a
get
way
over the hump.
Similar to that, I got to find a way to make these guys play better defense is what he needed to talk about. And, he did at times, but not enough. Yeah, he lost the media battle too. The radio shows, and I don't listen to them, and the Twitter people at Louisville, after he lost early in the first year, turned against him, and they stayed on him pretty relentlessly. And so, if once that becomes the case, you got to win games to get it back. But the difference, I think, between Kenny Payne and Mike Woodson was that Kenny Payne was a novice head coach, and Mike Woodson had coached 4 full seasons in the NBA. I mean, he's been around the block in terms of media dealings. So hopefully Kenny learns a lesson from this, and if he gets another opportunity, he does better next time.